Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of Aurora's Dream, watching the stars shift as the ship dropped out of hyperspace. After 20 years of deep space exploration, he still felt that familiar thrill when entering a new system. The Kepler 442 system stretched out before them, with its orange star casting warm light across 5 planets. "Scan complete, Captain," said Dr. Lisa Kane from her station. The xenobiologist had been studying alien cultures for most of her career, though she had never actually met one. No signs of intelligent life, but the 3rd planet shows interesting energy readings. Jake nodded and turned to his engineer. "Amy, how are the engines holding up?" Amy Brooks looked up from her console. "Running smooth as silk, sir. Fusion cores are working perfectly. Could probably run for another 6 months without maintenance." The Aurora's Dream was a typical Earth research vessel, built for long-range exploration and scientific study. She carried 200 crew members, including scientists, engineers, and support staff. Her mission was simple: map new systems, catalog resources, and search for signs of life. Nothing exciting, just routine exploration work. "Commander Stone, deploy the sensor pods," Jake ordered. "Let's get a full survey of this system." Rick Stone, the ship's security chief, activated the automated sensor network. Small pods launched from the ship and spread throughout the system, each one equipped with advanced scanning equipment. Within minutes, they were transmitting detailed information about every planet, moon, and asteroid. "Captain, I'm getting some unusual readings from the outer system," Amy reported. "There's definitely artificial energy signatures out there." Felt his pulse quicken. After all these years, they might finally have found evidence of alien civilization. "Can you identify the source?" "It's moving, sir. Actually, multiple sources. They're heading this way." Dr. Kane turned from her station, excitement clear on her face. "This could be it, Captain. Our first contact with an alien species." Jake activated the ship's communication systems. "All hands, this is the captain. We may be about to encounter alien vessels. This is not a drill. All departments report readiness status." The responses came quickly. Every system on the Aurora's Dream was functioning perfectly. The ship's fusion reactors hummed quietly, providing more power than they would ever need. The defensive systems were online, though Jake hoped they wouldn't be necessary. The Aurora's Dream was built for exploration, not combat. "Contact in 30 minutes, Amy announced. "I count 12 vessels, approaching in formation." Dr. Kane was already preparing her first contact protocols. As the ship's xenobiologist, she had studied every theory about alien communication. She had prepared dozens of different greeting messages in mathematical, musical, and visual formats. "They're trying to scan us," Commander Stone reported. "I'm reading active sensor sweeps across our hull." Jake wasn't worried. Earth ships were built to withstand the harsh conditions of their home system, including solar flares and radiation storms. Alien sensors would have trouble penetrating their shielding. "Any response to our greeting signals?" Jake asked. Dr. Kane shook her head. "Nothing yet. But they might need time to decode our messages." The alien vessels came into visual range 20 minutes later. They were sleek, angular ships with a blue-green metallic finish. Each one was about half the size of the Aurora's Dream, but they moved with obvious military precision. Captain Commander Stone said, his voice tense. "They're powering weapons." Frowned. "Are you sure? Maybe it's just their scanning equipment?" "Negative, sir. I'm reading weapon signatures. Plasma cannons, missile systems, energy projectors. These are definitely military vessels." Dr. Kane looked confused. "But why would they attack us? We've done nothing hostile. We're clearly a research vessel." Jake opened the communication channel. Again, "Alien vessels. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth ship Aurora's Dream. We come in peace. We are explorers and scientists. Please respond." The answer came in the form of plasma bolts striking their hull. The Aurora's Dream shuddered slightly as her defensive systems automatically activated. The ship's shields absorbed the energy without any difficulty. "They're firing on us," Commander Stone reported, though he sounded more surprised than concerned. Jake couldn't understand it. The aliens had just opened fire on a peaceful research vessel without any provocation. Damage report. Amy checked. Her readings no damage, sir. The plasma bolts barely registered on our shields. Their weapons are surprisingly weak. More weapons fire struck the ship. Missiles exploded against the hull. Energy beams tried to cut through the armor, and some kind of particle weapon attempted to disrupt their systems. None of it had any effect. The Aurora's Dream continued on her course, completely unharmed. Captain, they're really trying to hurt us, Dr. Kane said, sounding shocked. This isn't a misunderstanding. They're actually attacking. Jake made a decision. Commander Stone, activate the collision avoidance system. Push them back to a safe distance. Yes, sir. The Aurora's Dream was equipped with a powerful field generator designed to clear space debris from her path. When activated, it created a bubble of force that could push objects away from the ship. It was a standard safety feature on all Earth vessels. The field expanded outward, reaching the alien ships in seconds. The 12 vessels were immediately pushed away from the Aurora's Dream, their engines overloading as they tried to fight the force. Within moments, all 12 ships were disabled, drifting helplessly in space. Jake stared at the tactical display in disbelief. What just happened? Amy was checking her readings. The collision avoidance system overloaded their engines, sir. They're all dead in space. Commander Stone was equally confused. How is that possible? Those were military vessels. They should have been able to handle a simple force field. Dr. Kane was studying the alien ships through the ship's telescopes. Captain, I think we need to consider the possibility that these aliens have much more primitive technology than we assumed. Jake shook his head. But they have faster-than-light travel. They must be advanced. Not necessarily, Dr. Kane replied. Maybe they developed space travel differently than we did. Maybe their technology is specialized in different areas. Jake opened the communication channel one more time. Alien vessels. We have disabled your ships, but not harmed your crews. We will provide assistance if needed. Please respond. This time, there was an answer. The voice was translated by the ship's computer, sounding nervous and frightened. Ship, we surrender. Please do not destroy us. We are only following orders. Jake looked at his crew in confusion. Destroy them? The Aurora's Dream hadn't even fired a weapon. We're not going to destroy you, Jake replied. We're explorers, not warriors. Why did you attack us? We thought you were weak, came the reply. We were wrong. Your ship is far more powerful than anything in our fleet? Dr. Kane and Jake exchanged glances. The Aurora's Dream was just a research vessel with standard Earth technology. If these aliens thought it was powerful, what did that say about the galaxy they were entering? Stand by, Jake told the aliens. We're going to help repair your ships. The Aurora's Dream moved to assist the disabled vessels. Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this first contact was going to change everything. If a simple Earth research ship could accidentally defeat an entire alien fleet, what would happen when the galaxy learned about Earth's actual military capabilities? He didn't know it yet, but that question would soon terrify civilizations across the stars. The news spread across the galaxy faster than anyone could have imagined. Within days of the encounter in the Kepler 442 system, every major civilization had heard some version of what happened to the Zephyrian fleet. Stories grew more frightening. With each telling, war leader Vexter sat in his cell on the prison ship, staring at the metal walls. His entire career was over. 12 warships destroyed by a single alien vessel. The Zephyrian High Command had stripped him of rank and thrown him in prison for losing an entire fleet to what they called a primitive species. But Vextar knew better. He had been there. He had seen that Earth's ship absorb their weapons fire, like it was nothing. He had felt the force that disabled his entire fleet in seconds. These humans were not primitive. They were something far more dangerous. 3 sectors away, Captain Ben Hayes was having a much better day. The stellar merchant was making good time toward the mining colonies in the Outer Rim. His cargo hold was full of drilling equipment and fusion generators that would help establish new settlements on distant worlds. Ben had been hauling cargo for 15 years. It was honest work, though not very exciting. The stellar merchant was a massive ship, built to carry thousands of tons. of equipment across vast distances. She was sturdy and reliable, but nobody would call her fast or elegant. "Captain, we have a problem," called his first officer, Danny Cole. "Sensors are picking up multiple contacts ahead. They're moving to intercept us." Ben checked his navigation display. They were in the Kasara Nebula, a region known for pirate activity. Most cargo haulers avoided this area, but Ben needed to make up time after a delay at their last stop. "How many ships?" Ben asked. 23 vessels, sir." They matched the profile for Krillian raiders. Ben cursed under his breath. The Krillians were the most feared pirates in this sector. They had been terrorizing shipping lanes for decades, and their fleet was known to destroy any ship that refused to surrender cargo. "Are they trying to communicate?" Danny nodded. "Standard pirate demands, sir. They want us to shut down engines and prepare to be boarded." Ben considered his options. The Stellar Merchant carried valuable cargo, but it also carried something more important: the mining equipment needed to establish 3 new human colonies. Thousands of families were waiting for this shipment. "Send a reply," Ben said. "Then we're on a peaceful mission and request safe passage." The answer came quickly. The Krillian leader laughed over the communication channel. "Earth's ship. You will surrender your cargo or be destroyed. We have 23 warships. You have 1 fat cargo hauler. Choose wisely." Ben looked at his small crew. The Stellar Merchant carried only 30 people, all civilians. They were not soldiers or warriors. They were just trying to deliver equipment. "To help build new homes?" "Captain, they're moving into attack formation," Danny reported. Ben made his decision. "Activate the debris clearing system." Standard cargo protection protocol. The Stellar Merchant was equipped with a sophisticated defensive grid designed to protect the cargo from space debris during long voyages. Asteroid fragments, comet tails, and other hazards could damage valuable shipments. So Earth ships carried powerful systems to clear their flight path. The Krillian ships opened fire first. Plasma bolts and missile strikes hit the cargo hauler from multiple directions. The pirates expected to see the ship's hull torn apart under their combined firepower. Instead, the Stellar Merchant's shields absorbed every shot without difficulty. The massive ship continued on her course, completely unharmed. "Impossible," the Krillian leader said over the open channel. "No cargo ship has shields that strong." Ben activated the debris clearing system. Powerful energy projectors came online, designed to vaporize any object that might threaten the cargo. The system identified the Krillian ships as potential hazards and responded accordingly. 23 pirate vessels disappeared in brilliant flashes of light. The system eliminated each threat in less than 2 seconds, leaving only empty space and scattered debris. Ben stared at his tactical display in shock. "Danny, what just happened?" His first officer was checking the system logs. "The debris clearance system activated, sir. Identified the attacking ships as collision hazards and eliminated them." "All of them?" "Yes, sir. Complete destruction of all 23 vessels." Ben felt sick. He had never killed anyone before. The Stellar Merchant was a cargo ship, not a warship. But somehow his ship's basic safety systems had just destroyed an entire pirate fleet. "Any survivors?" Danny scanned the debris field. 3 escape pods, sir. They're broadcasting surrender signals." Ben opened the communication channel. "Krillian vessels, this is Captain Hayes. We're sending rescue shuttles to pick up survivors." The response was barely a whisper. "Earth's ship. We surrender. Please don't kill us." "We didn't know you were a war vessel." "War vessel?" Ben looked around his cargo hold, filled with mining equipment and agricultural supplies. "We're not a war vessel. We're just delivering supplies to the colonies." "But your weapons," the Krillian survivor said. "We've never seen anything so powerful." Ben didn't know how to explain that the Stellar Merchant didn't actually have weapons. The debris clearing system was just a safety feature, like the collision avoidance systems on every Earth ship. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Alex Turner was beginning to notice a pattern. The xenopsychologist had been monitoring galactic communications for months, studying how different alien civilizations interacted with each other. Recently, it detected dozens of reports about human ships defeating alien fleets. The stories seemed impossible. Earth had only been exploring the galaxy for a few years, and their ships were designed for peaceful purposes. Dr. Turner pulled up the latest reports. Zephyrian incident in Kepler 442. The destruction of Krillian pirates. In the Cassara Nebula, similar encounters in 6 other systems. Every time, human civilian ships had somehow defeated military vessels from established galactic civilizations. "This doesn't make sense," Dr. Turner said to his assistant, Dr. Kate Morris. "Our ships aren't built for combat. How are they defeating alien warships?" Dr. Morris was studying the technical specifications of Earth vessels. "Maybe the aliens are weaker than we thought. Look at these power readings from the encounters. Our fusion reactors are producing 10 times more energy than comparable alien ships." Dr. Turner frowned. "But that's normal for us. Earth ships need powerful reactors to handle solar flares and radiation storms in our system." Right, but most alien species develop space travel in calmer systems. They never needed to build ships as tough as ours. The implications were starting to sink in. Earth's harsh solar system had forced humanity to develop extremely robust technology. What humans considered basic safety features might be military-grade equipment by galactic standards. Dr. Turner activated his communication system. "I need to contact Earth Command immediately. You may have a serious situation developing." As he composed his report, more messages were coming in from across the galaxy. Human cargo ships defeating pirate fleets. Research vessels accidentally destroying military patrols. Even passenger liners were being reported as unstoppable war machines. Dr. Turner realized that humanity had stumbled into something much bigger than first contact. Without meaning to, without even trying, Earth had just announced itself as the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. The only problem was that none of the humans involved had any idea what was happening. Captain Ben Hayes was still trying to understand how his cargo ship had destroyed 23 pirate vessels. Captain Jake Morrison was wondering why the Zephyrians had attacked his research ship. Across human space, dozens of ship captains were filing routine reports about equipment malfunctions and sensor errors that had somehow resulted in the destruction of alien fleets. None of them realized that their routine encounters were reshaping the balance of power across the galaxy. None of them knew that civilizations thousands of years old were now living in fear of Earth's apparently unstoppable war machine, and none of them suspected that these weren't even Earth's military ships. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called for the first time in 50 years. Representatives from 300 civilizations gathered in the massive chamber on Nexus Prime, their voices creating a buzz of nervous energy that filled the air. Councillor Thises of the Altarian Republic stood at the central podium, her blue skin pale with worry. She had served on the council for 2 decades and had never seen the galaxy's leaders so frightened. "Fellow council members," Thises began, "we face an unprecedented situation. The past month, we have received reports of a new species called humans who appear to possess military technology far beyond anything we have encountered." The chamber erupted in nervous chatter. A representative from the Corvan Empire stood up. "Councillor Thises, our intelligence reports indicate that these humans destroyed an entire Krillian pirate fleet with a single cargo vessel. How is this possible?" "That is exactly what we need to determine," Thises replied. "We must send a diplomatic mission to assess their capabilities before this situation escalates further." Unknown to the council members, their fears were about to get much worse. Captain Nina Foster was having the worst day of her career. The Harmony Station was supposed to be on a routine passenger run from Earth to the Centauri colonies, carrying 50,000 human tourists and immigrants. Seeking new lives among the stars, the massive passenger liner was one of Earth's largest. Ships designed to transport huge numbers of people across vast distances in comfort and safety. She had luxury cabins, restaurants, shopping centers, and entertainment facilities spread across her 50 decks. "Captain, we have a navigation error," reported her first officer, Lieutenant Mark Wilson. "The hyperspace jump calculations were off. We're not where we're supposed to be." Nina checked their position on the star charts. They were in the Andromeda sector, a region she had never heard of. "Where exactly are we?" "According to the navigation computer, we're in the middle of the Andromedan Centaurian war zone." Nina felt her stomach drop. She had heard about this conflict. Two major civilizations had been fighting for decades over territorial disputes. The war had claimed millions of lives and devastated entire star systems. "Are there any ships in the area?" Lieutenant Wilson checked his sensors. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures. Looks like a major battle is in progress." Through the main view screen, Nina could see the war in all its terrible glory. Hundreds of ships from both fleets were engaged in deadly combat. Plasma beams cut through space, missiles exploded in brilliant flashes, and ships died in flames as the two sides fought with desperate fury. "We need to get out of here immediately," Nina said. "Plot a course back to safe space." "I'm trying." "Captain, but the hyperspace engines need time to recharge. We're stuck here for at least 30 minutes. As they watched, the battle moved closer to their position. The Andromedan and Centaurian fleets were so focused on destroying each other that they hadn't noticed the massive passenger liner that had appeared between them. "Captain, incoming fire," Lieutenant Wilson warned. "Both fleets are shooting at each other, but some of the weapons are coming our way." Energy beams and missiles began striking the Harmony Station's hull. The ship's passengers, completely unaware of the danger, continued their vacation activities, while death rained down around them. "Damage report," Nina ordered. "No damage, Captain." "The hull armor is absorbing everything they're throwing at us." Nina was relieved but confused. The Harmony Station was built to handle the occasional meteor strike or solar flare, but this was military-grade weapons fire from two of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. "Captain, we need to move," Lieutenant Wilson said. "The battle is getting closer. Some of those ships are going to collide with us if we don't do something." Nina made a decision that would change galactic history. Activate the collision avoidance system. Push them back to a safe distance. The Harmony Station was equipped with the most advanced collision avoidance technology Earth had ever built. The system was designed to prevent accidents in crowded space lanes, using powerful force fields to push other ships away from dangerous positions. Nina had no idea that her passenger liner's safety system was more powerful than most galactic civilizations' weapons. The force field expanded outward from the Harmony Station, reaching both fleets within seconds. The Andromedan and Centaurian ships suddenly found themselves pushed away from the passenger liner by an irresistible force. Engines overloaded, weapon systems failed, and navigation computers crashed as both fleets were swept aside like toys. Within minutes, nearly every ship in both armadas was disabled and drifting helplessly in space. Nina stared at the tactical display in shock. What just happened? Lieutenant Wilson was checking his readings. The collision avoidance system pushed both fleets away from us, Captain, but it seems to have overloaded their ship systems. Both fleets? How many ships? 437 vessels, Captain, all disabled. Nina felt dizzy. The passenger liner had just ended a war that had been raging for decades. Are there any survivors? Most of the ships are intact, just powerless. I'm receiving communication requests from both fleet commanders. Nina activated the communication system. This is Captain Nina Foster of the Earth passenger liner Harmony Station. We are a civilian vessel carrying tourists and immigrants. We mean number harm to either fleet. The response came from two different voices, both sounding terrified. Earthship, this is Admiral Kresh of the Andromedan fleet. We surrender unconditionally. Please spare our crews. Earth vessel, this is Fleet Commander Zoran of the Centaurian Armada. We also surrender. We had no idea you were in this sector. Oh, Nina was completely confused. Surrender? We're not attacking anyone. We're just trying to get our passengers to their destination safely. But your weapon, Admiral Kresh said. We've never seen anything so powerful. It disabled our entire fleet without even trying. That wasn't a weapon, Nina replied. It was just our collision avoidance system. It's a safety feature. There was a long silence on both communication channels. Finally, Fleet Commander Zoran spoke. Earthship, if that was just a safety feature, what are your actual weapons like? Nina looked around her bridge. The Harmony Station didn't have any weapons. It was a passenger liner, not a warship. We don't have weapons. We're a civilian transport vessel. Another long silence. Then Admiral Kresh spoke again. Captain Foster, on behalf of both fleets, we would like to request an immediate ceasefire. We need to discuss terms. Terms for what? Peace, both commanders said at the same time. We're ending the war. Nina couldn't believe what she was hearing because of us. Earth ship, any species that can disable 2 entire fleets with a safety. Feature is not a species we want to fight. We're declaring peace immediately. As the Harmony Station's hyperspace engines came back online, Nina received a message from both fleet commanders. Andromedan Centaurian War was officially over. Both sides had signed a peace treaty and were withdrawing their fleets from the war zone. The passengers on the Harmony Station never knew what had happened. They continued their vacation. Completely unaware that their cruise ship had just ended a decades-long war, Nina filed her incident report when they reached the Centauri colonies. She noted a minor navigation error and brief encounter with local military exercises. She didn't mention that her passenger liner had accidentally defeated 2 of the galaxy's most powerful fleets, back on Nexus Prime. The Galactic Council received the news with growing terror. First, human cargo ships were destroying pirate fleets. Then human research vessels were defeating military patrols. Now human passenger liners were ending major wars. Counselor Theses read the reports with shaking hands. According to the intelligence they had gathered, the humans still claimed these were civilian vessels. The human passenger liner could disable 400 warships. What could their actual military ships do? We need to contact Earth immediately, Thesis told the Council. We need to arrange a diplomatic meeting before this situation gets completely out of control. What the Council didn't know was that Earth still had no idea what was happening. The reports from Captain Morrison, Captain Hayes, and Captain Foster had been filed as routine incident reports. Earth Command had no idea that their civilian ships were being seen as unstoppable weapons of war. General Marcus Webb, Earth's military liaison, was reviewing the reports in his office. 3 encounters with alien vessels, all resulting in what appeared to be easy victories for human ships. But something about the reports bothered him. Why are alien military vessels so weak? He wondered aloud. These can't be their best ships. Webb had no way of knowing that they were indeed the aliens' best ships. He had no idea that Earth's civilian technology was decades ahead of most galactic civilizations' military hardware. As the Galactic Council prepared to send their diplomatic mission to Earth, they made one critical mistake. They assumed that Earth's government knew about the power their ships possessed. They assumed that the encounters had been intentional demonstrations of military might. They had no idea that Earth's greatest warriors were actually just civilians trying to do their jobs. Dr. Alex Turner sat in his laboratory on Earth, surrounded by hundreds of reports from across the galaxy. For weeks, he had been trying to understand what the alien civilizations were so afraid of. Every communication intercept told the same story. Earth ships were somehow defeating entire alien fleets. The problem was that Earth didn't have any military fleets. Every ship involved in these incidents was a civilian vessel on routine missions. Research ships, cargo haulers, passenger, liners, and survey vessels. None of them were designed for combat. Dr. Turner, you need to see this, said his assistant, Dr. Kate Morris. She was holding a decoded message from the Galactic Council. They want to send a diplomatic mission to Earth. Turner read the message carefully. Aliens were requesting permission to send an ambassador to discuss what they called mutual defense agreements and territorial boundaries. The tone was respectful but clearly nervous. They're scared of us, Turner realized. They think we're some kind of military superpower. Before Dr. Morris could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the research facility. Red warning lights flashed as automated systems activated emergency protocols. What's happening? Turner asked. Dr. Morris checked her computer terminal.
Unknown vessels have entered Earth's solar system.
They're not broadcasting any identification codes. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Luke Davis was having trouble with his equipment again. The Deep Explorer was conducting experiments on dark matter, trying to understand one of the universe's greatest mysteries. The collectors keep malfunctioning, Davis told his science officer, Dr. Rachel Brown. Every time we try to gather a sample, the equipment overloads and shuts down. The Deep Explorer was a small research vessel, carrying only 50 crew members. She was designed for delicate scientific work, not for dealing with equipment failures in dangerous situations. Maybe we're trying to collect too much at once, Dr. Brown suggested. The dark matter density here is higher than our models predicted. Davis activated the dark matter collection system again. Powerful energy fields reached out from the ship. Designed to capture and contain particles that barely interacted with normal matter, it was cutting-edge science. The equipment was still experimental, unknown to Davis and his crew. Their malfunctioning equipment was having a dramatic effect on something else entirely. Hidden in the asteroid field, 12 Galactic Council, spy ships were watching the human vessel with advanced cloaking devices. The spy mission had been authorized by Counselor This Is herself. If Earth possessed such powerful military technology, the Council needed to understand it before attempting diplomatic contact. The cloaked ships were the most advanced stealth vessels the galaxy had ever produced. "Are you recording this?" asked Commander Vril, leader of the spy fleet. "These humans are conducting some kind of energy experiment." "Yes, sir," replied his sensor operator, "but I'm getting strange readings. Their energy output is off the charts." On the Deep Explorer, Davis was getting frustrated. "That's the third malfunction this hour. What's wrong with this equipment?" Dr. Brown was studying the sensor readings. Energy discharge when the collectors shut down is creating massive subspace distortions. "We might need to move to a different location." Davis didn't realize that each malfunction was creating an energy pulse. It's powerful enough to overload the Galactic Council's cloaking systems. One by one, the spy ships were being revealed as their stealth fields failed. "Commander, we're losing." "Stealth," reported the sensor operator on the first spy ship. "Some kind of energy wave just hit us." "Impossible," Commander Vril replied. "Our cloaking technology is undetectable." Another pulse from the Deep Explorer hit the spy fleet. 3 more ships lost their stealth fields, their hulls suddenly visible. Against the black of space, Davis finally noticed something on his sensors. "Dr. Brown, are you seeing this?" "There are ships out there. Where did they come from?" Dr. Brown asked. "They weren't there a minute ago." "Maybe they're cloaked," Davis suggested. "But why would anyone be spying on a science mission?" Davis tried the dark matter collectors one more time. This time, the energy discharge was even more powerful. The remaining spy ships lost their cloaking simultaneously. Several of them suffered power failures as their systems overloaded. "All ships retreat immediately," Commander Vril ordered. But it was too late. The spy ship's engines had been damaged by the energy pulses. Half the fleet was dead in space, drifting helplessly in the asteroid field. Davis stared at his tactical display in confusion. There are 12 ships out there, and most of them are disabled. What kind of cloaking technology fails so easily? Dr. Brown was scanning the alien vessels. "Captain, these appear to be military ships, very advanced ones. But their power systems are completely overloaded." Davis opened a communication channel. "Unknown vessels. This is Captain Luke Davis of the Earth science ship Deep Explorer. Do you require assistance?" The response came from Commander Vril, his voice filled with fear and respect. "Earth ship, we surrender. We did not know you had detected our presence. Please do not destroy us." "Destroy you?" Davis was completely confused. "We're a science vessel. We don't have weapons. We were just conducting research on dark matter." "But your energy weapon," Commander Vril said. "You disabled our entire fleet." Davis looked at Dr. Brown, who shrugged. "We don't have energy weapons. We have scientific equipment." There was a long pause before Commander Vril responded. "Captain Davis, we are representatives of the Galactic Council. We came to observe your military capabilities." "Military capabilities?" "We're scientists, not soldiers. But you destroyed our stealth systems and disabled our ships." Davis was starting to understand. That was our dark matter collection equipment. It's experimental technology. The energy discharges were just equipment malfunctions. Another long pause. Then Commander Vril asked the question that would change everything. "Captain Davis, if your scientific equipment can defeat our best military technology, what can your actual military ships do?" Davis had no answer. Earth didn't have military ships, at least not the kind these aliens seemed to expect. But he was beginning to understand why the galaxy was so frightened. Meanwhile, at the edge of Earth's solar system, Ambassador Helen Ross was arriving aboard her diplomatic shuttle. She had been sent to establish formal relations with the Galactic Council, completely unaware of the fear her arrival would cause. The diplomatic shuttle was a small, elegant vessel designed to transport Earth's ambassadors to meetings with alien civilizations. It carried only a dozen crew members and was equipped with the finest defensive systems Earth could provide. To the Galactic Council fleet waiting at the system's edge, the shuttle looked like a weapon of unimaginable power. Its energy signature was stronger than their largest dreadnoughts. Its defensive shields were generating more power than most civilizations used for entire cities. Galactic Council fleet, this is Ambassador Helen Ross of Earth, she announced as her shuttle approached. Come in peace to discuss diplomatic relations between our peoples. The Council Fleet Commander, Admiral Zeth, was trembling as he responded. Ambassador Ross, welcome to our fleet. We're honored by your presence. Helen was surprised by the formal tone. Thank you, Admiral. I'm looking forward to productive discussions. Ambassador, may we ask about your escort ships? Around confused? Escort ships? I'm traveling alone. Admiral Zeth checked his sensors again. According to his readings, the human shuttle was more powerful than his entire fleet combined. If this was just a diplomatic vessel traveling alone, what kind of military power did Earth really possess? Ambassador Ross, we will escort you too. The council chambers immediately. Please follow our ships. As the small diplomatic convoy headed toward Galactic Council space, Admiral Zeth sent an urgent message to Counselor Thisis. The human ambassador has arrived. Her diplomatic shuttle is more powerful than anything we've ever encountered. If this is how they travel to peaceful meetings, I don't want to imagine what their warships are like. Back on Earth, Dr. Turner was putting together the pieces of a puzzle that terrified him. The aliens thought Earth's civilian ships were military vessels. They believed that research equipment and safety systems were advanced weapons technology. We need to contact Earth Command immediately, Turner told Dr. Morris. The galaxy thinks we're a military superpower, but we're not. The truth, this could either be very good or very bad for humanity. What Turner didn't know was that the truth would be even more frightening to the aliens than their current fears. When the Galactic Council discovered that Earth's civilian technology was more advanced than their military hardware, they would realize that humanity's actual potential was beyond their comprehension. The galaxy was about to learn that those really weren't Earth's warships. Dr. Alex Turner stood in the briefing room at Earth Command headquarters, facing the most important military leaders on the planet. Admiral Sam Carter, the head of Earth's Space Forces, sat at the head of the table with a confused expression. On his weathered face, "Let me understand this correctly, Dr. Turner," Admiral Carter said slowly. "The aliens think our civilian ships are military vessels." "That's right, sir," Turner replied. "Every encounter between human ships and alien forces has resulted in what they see as devastating military defeats. But from our perspective, these were just routine civilian operations." General Patricia Wells, head of Earth Defense, shook her head in disbelief. "How is that possible? Our ships aren't designed for combat." Dr. Paul Grant, Earth's Chief Technology Officer, cleared his throat. "Actually, that's exactly the problem. Or maybe I should say the solution." All eyes turned to Dr. Grant, a thin man with graying hair who had spent his entire career developing Earth space technology. "Our solar system is one of the most dangerous places in the galaxy," Grant explained. "Solar flares, radiation storms, asteroid impacts, gravitational anomalies. Any ship operating in Earth space has to be incredibly tough just to survive." Admiral Carter was beginning to understand. "You're saying our civilian ships are built like tanks?" "More than that," Grant continued. "Look at the power requirements. Our ships need fusion reactors powerful enough to push through solar wind. At near light speed, they need shields strong enough to deflect cosmic radiation and asteroid impacts. They need navigation systems precise enough to avoid gravitational wells." Turner pulled up a comparison chart on the main screen. "I've been analyzing the technical specifications from alien encounters. Our standard fusion reactor produces 10 times more energy than their largest battleship reactors. Our basic hull armor is stronger than their military-grade plating. But they have faster-than-light travel, General Wells pointed out. They must be advanced. Different kinds of advancement, Grant replied. Most alien species develop space travel in calm, stable systems. They never needed to build ships as robust as ours. Their technology focused on efficiency and speed, not survival in hostile environments. Admiral Carter stood up and walked to the window overlooking Earth's orbital shipyards. So what you're telling me is that our garbage haulers could defeat their battleships in terms of raw power and defensive capability? Yes, sir, Turner confirmed. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth had accidentally become the most powerful military force in the galaxy without trying, without even knowing it. Admiral Turner continued. There's something else you need to know. We just finished construction of our first purpose-built military vessel. Admiral Carter turned around. The Terran Guardian? Yes, sir. She was designed after studying alien technology and incorporating our engineering principles. The aliens have no idea what an actual Earth warship looks like. Captain Maria Santos was running final tests on the Terran Guardian when the emergency orders came through. The ship was Earth's first purpose-built warship, designed to protect human colonies and trade routes. She was sleek, powerful, and incorporated everything humanity had learned about space combat. Captain, we're receiving orders from Earth Command, reported her first officer, Lieutenant Commander John Parker. We're to conduct a demonstration of our weapons systems. Maria read the orders carefully. They want us to test our main guns. On the asteroid field in the Vega system, full-powered demonstration. The Terran Guardian was equipped with the most advanced weapons Earth could build. Her main guns used focused fusion reactions to create destructive energy beams. Her missile systems could launch projectiles at near-light speed. Her defensive systems could create force fields powerful enough to stop anything the galaxy could throw at them. All stations prepare for weapons test, Maria announced. Target the largest asteroid in the field. The crew worked efficiently, preparing systems that had never been fired in combat. Everything about the Terran Guardian was designed for one purpose: to show the galaxy what Earth could do when it actually tried to build a warship. Main guns charged and ready, Captain, reported the weapons officer, Lieutenant Sarah Kim. Fire when ready. The Terran Guardian's main guns fired simultaneously, sending twin beams of concentrated fusion energy toward the target asteroid. Beams struck the massive rock and kept going, cutting through it like it was made of paper. But the weapons didn't stop there. The energy beams continued through the asteroid field, vaporizing everything in their path. Hundreds of asteroids simply ceased to exist, turned into glowing plasma by the incredible power of Earth's first warship. Captain, the entire asteroid field is gone, Lieutenant Kim reported in shock. Maria stared at the tactical display. Where there had been thousands of asteroids, there was now empty space and a rapidly expanding cloud of superheated gas. How is that possible? She asked. Lieutenant Commander Parker was checking the weapons readings. Captain, the energy output was much higher than expected. The fusion reaction in the main guns created a chain reaction that spread through the entire field. The destruction was visible from several neighboring star systems. The energy release created a brief artificial star that burned brighter than most suns. Any civilization with sensors in the area would have detected the massive explosion. On the Galactic Council's monitoring station in the Vega sector, sensor operator Krill watched his displays with growing horror. The energy signature was unlike anything he had ever seen. Sir, you need to see this? Krill called to his supervisor. The humans just destroyed an entire asteroid field. Commander Nash looked at the readings and felt his blood turn cold. How many ships? Just one, sir? Single vessel eliminated? Everything in a 50-kilometer radius. Commander Nash sent an immediate priority message to the Galactic Council. Emergency report. Human military vessel has demonstrated weapons capability far beyond anything in our databases. Recommend immediate diplomatic contact to prevent hostile action. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter was reading the test results from the Terran Guardian with amazement and concern. Dr. Grant, the weapons test exceeded all projections by 300. How is that possible? Grant was studying the technical reports. Admiral, I think we underestimated our own technology. When we combine human engineering with what we learned from alien encounters, we created something more powerful than we intended. Turner was monitoring alien communications. Sir, the demonstration has been detected by at least 20 different civilizations. They're sending emergency messages to their governments. What kind of messages? Panic, mostly. They're calling it a super weapon test. Some of them are evacuating star systems near human space. Admiral Carter realized the situation was spiraling out of control. We need to contact Ambassador Ross immediately. The aliens need to understand that we're not planning to attack anyone, but the damage was already done. Across the galaxy, military leaders were holding emergency meetings. If Earth civilian ships could defeat their best warships and Earth's actual military vessels could destroy asteroid fields, what would happen if humanity decided to expand their territory? The Galactic Council was no longer just afraid of Earth, they were terrified. And they had no idea that humanity was just as confused as they were. Captain Santos filed her report on the weapons test, noting the unexpected power levels and recommending further safety protocols for future tests. She had no idea that her routine weapons calibration had just convinced the galaxy that Earth possessed the power to destroy star systems. Admiral Carter looked at the reports piling up on his desk. Every human ship in space was filing incident reports about encounters with alien vessels. None of the captains understood why the aliens seemed so frightened of them. Turner, how do we explain to the galaxy that we're not trying to conquer anyone? Turner shook his head. I'm not sure they'll believe us, sir. From their perspective, we've just demonstrated that our civilian ships can defeat their military forces, and our military ships can destroy entire regions of space. But that's not what we intended. I know, sir. But intentions don't matter. When you accidentally become the most powerful force in the galaxy, Admiral Carter stared out at the stars, wondering how humanity had stumbled into this situation. They had built ships to explore, to trade, to carry passengers and cargo across the vast distances between stars. They had never intended to become conquerors, but the galaxy didn't know that. All they knew was that Earth's power was beyond their understanding, and that terrified them more than any invasion fleet ever could. President Karen White stood before the massive holographic display in the Galactic Council chambers, looking out at representatives from hundreds of civilizations. Every alien face showed the same expression, fear mixed with desperate hope for peace. The journey to this moment had taken 3 months of careful planning. After Earth's leaders finally understood what was happening in the galaxy, they knew they had to act quickly to prevent panic from turning into open warfare. Honored representatives of the Galactic Council, President White began, her voice carrying clearly through the translation systems. I come before you today to address the concerns that have arisen about Earth's intentions in galactic affairs.
Counselor?
Thesis, who had grown even paler in the weeks since the Terran Guardian demonstration, spoke first. President White, we appreciate your willingness to engage in diplomatic dialogue. However, we must address the reality of Earth's military capabilities. President White nodded. That's exactly why I'm here. There have been several misunderstandings that I believe we can clear up today. She activated a holographic display showing Earth's solar system. To understand humanity's technology, you need to understand where we come from. Our sun produces radiation storms that would strip the atmosphere from most inhabited worlds. Our asteroid belt contains rocks moving at speeds that would destroy cities. Our space is filled with gravitational anomalies that crush ships designed for normal space travel. Alien representatives looked at the display with growing amazement. Several species had never seen a star system so hostile to life. Every ship humanity builds must survive in this environment, President White continued. What you call military-grade technology, we call basic safety equipment. We never intended to intimidate anyone. We were just trying not to die in our own backyard. Admiral Zeth, who had encountered Ambassador Ross's shuttle, raised a tentacle. President White, are you saying that your diplomatic vessels are not weapons platforms? Admiral, my shuttle carries defensive systems designed to protect against solar radiation and meteor impacts. It has no weapons. None of our civilian ships do. A murmur of disbelief swept through the chamber. Commander Varel, who had led the failed spy mission, stood up. But President White, our most advanced stealth ships were defeated by your science vessel. How do you explain that? President White smiled sadly. Captain Davis was conducting experiments on dark matter. The energy discharges that disabled your ships were equipment malfunctions. He was actually frustrated because his instruments weren't working properly. The silence in the chamber was complete. Hundreds of civilizations were realizing that their greatest fears had been based on misunderstandings. What about the Terran? Guardian asked a representative from the Corvin Empire. Our sensors detected an energy release equivalent to a stellar explosion. That was a weapons test, President White admitted. But it was the first time we had ever fired those weapons. We were as surprised as you were by the results. The weapon systems exceeded our expectations because we built them using the same principles we use for everything else. Make them strong enough to survive anything. Back on Earth, Fleet Admiral Tony Miller was overseeing the construction of humanity's first proper space fleet. The shipyards around Earth buzzed with activity as dozens of new vessels took shape. Admiral, the new ships are coming along well, reported Chief Engineer Lisa Gray, but I'm concerned about their power output. Each vessel is generating energy. Signatures that will probably terrify the aliens. Admiral Miller nodded. That's why we're building them. The President wants the galaxy to know that we have the capability to defend ourselves, but we're choosing not to use it aggressively. The new Earth fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each ship was designed with the same principles that had made Earth's civilian vessels so formidable: extreme durability, massive power generation, systems that could function in the harshest environments imaginable. But there was one crucial difference. These ships were clearly marked as military vessels. Earth was making sure everyone knew it. Captain Steve Rogers commanded the diplomatic escort, Earth's Voice, one of the new ships designed specifically to protect Earth's ambassadors during their missions across the galaxy. The ship was heavily armed and shielded, but its primary mission was peaceful. Captain, we're approaching the Altarian system, reported his navigation officer, Lieutenant Mary Johnson. The Altarian fleet is moving to escort us. Steve looked at the tactical display. 20 Altarian warships had formed up around his single vessel, but he could tell from their movements that they were being extremely careful not to appear threatening. Open a communication channel, Steve ordered. Earth vessel, this is Admiral Kex of the Altarian Republic, came the response. We are honored to escort you to our capital world. Thank you, Admiral. We appreciate the warm welcome. What Steve didn't mention was that his ship could have destroyed the entire Altarian fleet without working up a sweat. The Earth's Voice was designed to be diplomatic, but she was still built to Earth's standards of durability and power. As the small convoy headed toward Altair Prime, Admiral Keck sent a message to his government. The Earth ship has arrived. Even more powerful than our intelligence reports suggested. I recommend we agree to any proposal they make. This pattern was repeating itself across the galaxy. Every civilization that encountered Earth's new diplomatic fleet came to the same conclusion. Humanity was too powerful to fight and too dangerous to ignore. President White continued her address to the Galactic Council. Proposes a new kind of galactic alliance. We will share our defensive technology with any civilization that wants it. We will help protect trade routes and colony worlds, but we will not conquer or intimidate anyone. Counselor Vissus looked around the chamber at her fellow representatives. President White, what do you want in return? Friendship, she replied simply. We want to explore, to learn, to trade, and to grow alongside our galactic neighbors. We never wanted to be the dominant military power. We just wanted to survive long enough to reach the stars. The vote was unanimous. Every civilization in the galaxy agreed to join Earth's new alliance. It's not because they believed in humanity's peaceful intentions, though many did, but because they were too frightened to do anything else. Dr. Alex Turner, now serving as Earth's Chief Xenological Advisor, watched the proceedings from Earth. The irony wasn't lost on him. Humanity had achieved galactic dominance not through conquest or aggression, through the simple determination to build things that wouldn't break. Turner. What's our status report? Asked Admiral Carter. All major civilizations have agreed to the alliance, sir. Trade agreements are being signed. Technology sharing programs are starting up. And most importantly, no one is shooting at our ships anymore. Admiral Carter smiled. Maybe now our cargo captains can deliver their shipments without accidentally ending wars. Captain Jake Morrison was back in space aboard the Aurora's Dream, continuing his mission to explore new star systems. The ship's arrival at each new world was now preceded by diplomatic messages explaining that this was a peaceful research vessel, not a military threat. Captain, we're receiving a greeting from the local government, reported Dr. Lisa Kane, offering to provide any assistance we need and asking if we would like a military escort. Jake shook his head in amazement. A year ago, aliens were shooting at us. Now they're offering to protect us. Times change, Captain, Dr. Kane replied, though I'm not sure they understand that we don't actually need protection. As the Aurora's Dream continued her survey mission, Jake reflected on how much had changed. Earth had become the unofficial protector of the galaxy, not through war or conquest, but through a series of misunderstandings and accidents. Humanity had built ships to survive in their dangerous home system. The galaxy had mistaken those survival features for weapons of war. And now, Earth found itself responsible for maintaining peace among hundreds of civilizations. President White concluded her address to the Galactic Council with a promise that would define humanity's role in the galaxy for generations to come. Earth will use its strength to protect the weak, defend the innocent, and preserve peace among all civilizations. We didn't choose to be the galaxy's guardians, but we accept that responsibility. We will prove that power doesn't have to corrupt, and strength doesn't have to destroy. The galaxy had learned to fear Earth's civilian ships because they thought they were weapons of war. Now they were learning something even more important. Those really weren't Earth's warships. And humanity was choosing to use their real power to build rather than destroy. In the end, the galaxy's greatest fear had become its greatest hope.